Hello everyone, my name is Edward Dan and welcome to EthiVegan. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Marina Qutab. Is that right?
Yes. That's
yeah.
right.
She is the eco-warrior, eco-goddess. And she is a social media mogul.
A mogul?
Mogul, yeah. Oh, you're a mogul. You like this. Now, Marina, when she was young, used to dance in front of her television and would dance to Bollywood movies. Is that right? Is that true?
It's true.
It's true. It's true. Show us the move. Can't show us the move.
That's it.
Is it?
And you do a little hip thing.
Oh! So Marina Qutab, tell us about your trash can, your trash jar.
Yes. So
Can you see this? Can you see this? Brilliant, isn't it? It's amazing. And it's full of plastic and other stuff, isn't it?
So things I can't compost or recycle. This is a jar that I've tracked my waste in from 1 year and 7 months. And I started actually, so 1 year and 7 months ago in March, I was moving from Boston, Massachusetts to San Diego, California. And I wanted to just test myself and see how little trash I could create. And through all of these states, I ended up creating a few banana stickers. And I was impressed with myself, and so I thought, why stop? Let's continue. Let's see how I can reduce my waste even more every single day. And it's hard as a vegan too, because I was used to eating things like packaged tempeh and tofu and even vegan chips, like really delicious treats like that. And so it challenged me to learn how to create these things myself, create my own recipes, and become less dependent on plastics.
Wow. Now the thing, what do you got? Can we open this? Can we open your trash jar? It will explode. It's going to explode. Let's try it. So let's pick out one thing.
There we go. Okay, so it's not exploding.
So we've got this.
Perfect.
What's this?
Okay.
So what's this? Tell me about this story behind this.
So this is a seal.
Okay.
It's on some type of food packaging. It looks like an almond butter.
Yeah.
And so things like that. Sometimes it's hard for me to find almond butter at affordable rates, especially in California. Almond butter is really expensive, and so sometimes I'll go to the store, buy a glass jar of almond butter, a plastic jar of almond butter, and the seal, unfortunately, can't be recycled. Whereas the actual container, you could reuse that over and over. And so that's typically what I do. I try to find all of my packaged items in glass, so that way I can easily reuse them. And I do. I'll use them for like storing my bulk beans or oats, or I'll even use them as to-go containers when I go to a restaurant. I'll like have my leftovers put in my upcycled glass jar.
And so how does one get into this? What 3 tips do you have for people that want to become much more conscious about the food that they're eating? What sort of mindset do they need to change to?
I actually like the number 2 in this case, because I developed this thing called the 2-step method. And so the first step is to look in the mirror, and I tell people to look in the mirror and say, damn, you look sexy. But there's a way that you can look
Do you look
trashy.
sexy? Do you look sexy? That's the question.
Yes, self-love.
Of course, it's self-love. I can't close this now.
I know. You have to really
it's like
push it down.
It's just like full of trash. I can't close it.
That's how I feel.
So, yeah,
okay, ready? I have the magic touch.
Do you? Oh, I bet
Like
you
this.
do. I bet you do have the magic touch.
There you go.
Oh, brilliant. There you go.
I
You
know
worked
my
it.
jar.
You do know your jar. So yeah, the 2-step.
Yeah, the 2-step method. So the first step is to take a good look in the mirror, and by that I mean look in your pantry, look in your fridge, look in your car, look in your closet, look at each aspect of your life and assess where there is room for improvement. And so I did that when I started Zero Waste. I was actually shocked to see how much plastic there was. My spaghetti was packaged, my almond milk was packaged, everything was packaged, and a lot of times the plastics that these products are packaged in are not recyclable. And something that you'll hear a lot is reduce, reuse, recycle, or the 5 R's. Recycle is listed last because we, as low-impact lifestylers, try to recycle as the last resort, because it still requires energy actually to recycle products. So that's my first tip, is to take a good look in the mirror and assess where you could use some improvement.
And self-love.
And self-love, tell yourself you look sexy, but you could look less trashy.
Sorry, I'm trying not to cough here. Carry on. Yeah, second one.
So there's ways that you can look less trashy.
Yeah.
And then that second step is to make the move. That's what I call it. So that means reapproaching your pantry, letting everything go empty, your fridge and your pantry, and then going out into the world and looking at what ways you can improve. So for like to-go food, for example, a lot of times people will have leftovers with their food and they'll just get it in like a styrofoam or plastic container. Why not bring your own glass container? So that way when you're taking your leftovers home, you can just put it in your glass container and then put it in your fridge and there's no waste, right? And so it's taking like little steps like that. You'll hear a lot in the movement, especially from other Instagrammers, baby steps. And that's a huge thing. You know, you need to start somewhere. So for me, I started with my pantry. I started with my pantry. I started shopping in bulk, which was really fun and exciting for me. I would go to the grocery store with my produce bags and I would start buying things like beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, flour, things like that, and I would just buy everything in bulk, so no packaging there. And my pantry, you'll know when you start to transform as a low impact lifestylist when you see your pantry and it's all glass and everything's beautiful glass jars, there's no plastic, right? So that's my tip for making the move. But I would say starting small with things like everyday single-use disposables like straws and utensils, and like I said, like bringing your own jar to get food to go or for your leftovers. That's
and the third thing?
So that's so straws, utensils, packaging. That's a huge one. I think a lot of people are just used to buying a quick bag of chips, right? And then we don't think of what happens to that bag.
So the third thing is about becoming much more conscious about what we're putting into our body now,
exactly.
what we're eating.
Exactly. I really love that. I think the connection to food, it's just. That for me is what's empowering about the movement, is like now I'm definitely healthier. I used to eat more packaged food and processed food and I didn't really think about it. Like I was just like, oh, everyone's eating these chips, but now I really think about what's going into my body, and because I'm not buying the packaged processed food, I'm making everything at home. I also live on an organic farm, so it's really easy for me to just go outside and get some vegetables and fruits.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did that organic farm come about then?
So I had moved to San Diego, California, and I was actually living on the beach, and I was working for someone else, and I was meditating one night as the sun was setting, and I just thought to myself how amazing it would be to have a life where I built this social media presence and connected with this global tribe, and together we built upon each other's energy to help the planet. And so I just kept thinking about that, and
you manifested it, really. That's what happened.
It's true.
Yeah.
It was like one thing led to another. Like a week later, my job let me go, and I was shocked. I was like, oh my god. And so it was like, that little push that I needed of like losing my job and thinking, okay, I can either sink or swim right now. I can go try to find another job, or I can try to figure out how the heck to make it myself and make a social media presence that can support me. So that was the push that I needed.
Now, you became vegan almost 2 years ago, didn't you?
Yeah.
And what happened? What happened to your boyfriend at the time?
So yeah, I watched Cowspiracy, and it was like late at night, and I came to this
2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning, I realized...
Rings the boyfriend?
Yeah.
And what did you say?
I told him that I was going vegan and that I had to do it. It was like my soul's calling. And would he do it with me? And he was like, I don't know. He had some resistance, and I said, well, I'll be honest, I don't know if I can be with someone who isn't vegan.
You were ruthless.
He was like, who are you?
You came into your own power, didn't you?
It's true, and you know what? He actually did try veganism. After a few months, he tried it for a week, and can I swear? He had the shits. Because when you're eating a lot of plants and you're used to eating a lot of like meat and stuff,
that's gonna be censored out.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
really.
and so he just was so turned off to it. He was like, I'm never trying veganism again.
But the thing is, I think we're all on our own journey and our own path, and it's about living in alignment. Because when we live in alignment, magical things happen, and it's like manifesting stuff. Like I think of something, it's like, oh, I'd like to do this, and then almost instantaneously, I move into that space, and it happens.
I so agree.
What happens? Tell me about your experiences.
Yeah, well, you know, when I first went vegan, I would call myself more... When I first went vegan, I would say I was more of a militant vegan. I was trying to convert as many people as I could, and I do truly think it was coming more from a place of ego. Because I was like, wow, I found it. I found this lifestyle that's fully in alignment with the planet. Like, look at me, right? But as time passed and I realized I wasn't really resonating with a bunch of people, I really took a deep look at myself, and I realized what was my why. And when I connected to my why and how eating this way, living this way made me happy, made me vibrant, made me alive, then I just was living that way. I was just living in my truth, and people were inspired by that. And so I think if we go out, we do need those activists who are on the street and yelling, and the PETAs, right? The PETA people of the world.
Oh, the PETAs are there.
The PETA. I think the world needs those people who are like the strong activists, but for me personally, like, I've had the most luck in educating when I'm just living in my truth. And just like eating this way, living this way, and then people are interested. They're like, well, how do you do that? What's in your jar? What are you eating? How do you stay healthy when you're traveling and you're still vegan? You know, so like I think that's what opens the door, is just like living this way.
Yeah, and you have this premonition that you're going to be with someone who is Eastern Mediterranean, or is it Middle Eastern, isn't it?
You know, I'm not sure. I'll keep my doors open, but I have...
You can manifest anything you want.
It's true. And I'm trying to be careful of that, because I want to just simply be, and then all of a sudden...
Yeah, mesmerized.
Yeah, something occurs.
Yeah, exactly. No, I really enjoyed today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Marina Qutab. Eco warrior or eco goddess?
Eco warrior. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. And it's bye from me, and it's bye from Marina. Bye bye.